Was this a complete waste of time? I don't think so. I think it was still completely worth it because when you're in landscape photography and you're trying to be successful at it, you need to take those risks. Hello, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Elias. I'm an amateur landscape photographer, and I try to bring my experiences and journeys to YouTube as a new landscape photographer. Maybe show you some things that you didn't know or help you learn some things by my mistakes so you don't have to go and make those mistakes yourself. If that interests you, please consider subscribing. I put a video out every single week. I'll tell you what, man, this week is... It's been weird. It is the end of May, and it is Memorial Day weekend, and I have tried so hard to plan something for this weekend. What I wanted to do was go out and shoot the Milky Way because it is a new moon. Fortunately, it being the Pacific Northwest and really just Oregon in general, and Washington for that matter, it is pretty much overcast from the coast of Oregon and Washington all the way through the Midwest, and there is no escape. Thought to myself this weekend, you know what, I'm gonna go out and do something no matter what. Lo and behold, I have found a window of weather that allows me to do something a very unfavorable time, but it has the potential to be super awesome. I'll be honest, guys, I need a pick-me-up. I'm kind of down and out, and I'm trying not to bring my personal life too much into these kind of videos because I'm down right now. I really am. And going out and shooting this weekend with it being overcast and rainy, you know, I was looking forward to it, but I think this really has the potential to be something great. The forecast at Mount Hood shows for tomorrow morning to be low clouds, very low cloud base, with no medium or high clouds at all. What I'm hoping to do tomorrow is to, well, technically tonight, is to go to Mount Hood. I'm gonna park, I'm going to hike up above the clouds and capture the sunrise on the mountain above the clouds. That just sounds so sick to me. I spent most of the day gathering gear and equipment, everything that I need for the trip, getting all my snowboard stuff ready because I am going to be snowboarding down. That is like the cherry on top. That should be a pretty epic trip. I've done this hike a couple times now. And every time I've done this hike, it's in snowboard boots, just sinking through the snow all the way up, and it is daunting at times. So I think in a bit, I'm gonna go head over to Next Adventure. It's in Portland. I'm gonna try to see if I can rent some snowshoes. Tomorrow is just gonna be me waking up super early. Technically, I think I'm gonna be waking up today later at 11:30 at night, heading up to the mountain, shooting up as fast as I can, and just enjoying it, man. Just getting that much needed joy I get from accomplishing something as difficult as this is gonna be for me. That is the plan for this video. I really hope it goes well. I really hope I get some good content to bring to you guys, and honestly, most of all, I just hope it really lifts my spirits up. So stick around and see what the outcome is at the end of this video and see what kind of photos we can produce, no matter the conditions. All right, I'm gonna go to Next Adventure and get the rest of my stuff ready. It's gonna be a long night, morning, night. It's gonna be miserable getting up, but something we gotta do. Let's go. Okay guys, I'm gonna be honest, this is probably the gnarliest weather I've ever been in my life as far as trying to start a hike goes. It is a blizzard. It is a windy blizzard right now, and I'm super nervous and don't really know. Man, visibility is awful, and I have service. I'm pretty much all the way up, and I have a general idea of where I'm going. It's just the weather is so bad right now. I talked to a couple hikers who were going up. They were pretty legit. I mean, pretty much they kind of confirmed the way I thought I need to go. I set my location to my loved ones just in case. Yeah, I'm kind of super nervous, and I'm really nervous that this, I don't know how high this storm goes. Like, I have no idea. I'm hoping we can break it and rise above it, but it is blowing wind. It's bad. I don't know how much filming I'm gonna do on the way up because you're not gonna catch anything on the audio. It's just gonna be miserable, windy, blowing snow. So I'm trying to work up the courage, and I think I'm gonna just go for it. I'm up here at Timberline Lodge parking lot, getting ready to do this hike up to Illumination Rock. Ugh. This is kind of awkward. This video did not go as planned at all. Spoiler alert, I know, but I just need to jump in here because for continuity's sakes, it's a disaster. Let me explain. There were a number of factors in this video, in this trip, that I went in not knowing and not being ready for whatsoever. In fact, if I'm being completely honest, I should have just pulled the plug on this trip and this whole video, but I didn't. I actually pushed through on this whole thing and went through hell, so I'm going to show it on YouTube. The only problem is I couldn't document it worth a damn at all. There was literally no audio from here on out as I start walking up the mountain. So I'm just gonna kind of jump in here and do some voiceovers and tell you what's going on, explain my situation. Editing this video has been terrible because it's literally giving me PTSD. By all rights, I should have not even done this. I should have got to the mountain, turned around, and just gone back home. Try again another day. So let's dive into this. What happened that made this so terrible? Well, one, there was a complete snowstorm blizzard. I've done this hike a couple times with friends in daylight, never by myself in the dark in a blizzard. So mistake number one. As soon as I saw that, should have just pulled the plug. So once I finally worked up the courage to actually go up this mountain, I set up all my stuff outside the car, I put it all on. It was just miserable. I was just thinking like, man, this is so much weight on my body, I have so many clothes on, I can't believe I'm gonna do this. Like, what am I doing? I got to the trailhead and I just started going up the mountain. It was dark and there was just snow blowing everywhere. In fact, I didn't even know where to go other than just looking at my GPS on my phone every once in a while that I could only check every 5 minutes. Finally, I saw a grader coming down the hill that just got done grading and it just illuminated everything up, and I was like, okay, well now I have a clear path of where I need to go.
Oh God. This is rough.
That helped me out tremendously. Didn't really feel much going up because it was just one thing. It was just straight up the mountain, just trudging through the snow, trudging through the wind, the blizzard, the cold. It was awful. I made it to the top of the Palmer chair. Now this stop is 2/3 of the way to my destination, but once I got up there, I realized that there is no way I'm gonna be making it to Illumination Rock because it was just complete, you couldn't see it. It was just completely shrouded in the storm. Luckily, the position I was at, the top of Palmer chair, was where the storm sort of broke. It was like storm to the west, clear-ish to the east, so I decided that's where I was gonna be hanging out. In fact, I got there at almost the exact same time a group of hikers got there, and we just kind of kicked it there for a little bit. As I talked to them, they said that they were gonna try to summit the mountain that day. Spoiler alert, they didn't, they came back down. I thought they were absolutely crazy. I was like, there's no way. You guys are, oh my God, good luck. That's all I can say. One guy got wise and stuck around and said, you know what, I'm not gonna go, I'm just gonna walk down the mountain. Before we did, we just kind of hung out and talked about why we were up there, how crappy it was, like all these other things. Just dudes being dudes, just talking. Now walking up this mountain, and when you're having that much gear, you get warm really quick despite how cold it is. So I did walk up in only like a hoodie and my coat. Once I got to the top of Palmer, I was instantly frozen. I had to quickly take off my coat and put on more layers. I put on another hoodie, I put on 2 crew necks, I think another shirt, and I was still frozen. It was frozen. At this point, I was just thinking like, what am I gonna do? Like, I can't really see the sunrise. I'm there for sunrise. I'm there to get color, but there's nothing. My plan was to be above the clouds, but I'm really not above the clouds. I'm like in the cloud. There's clouds way off in the distance, but I just felt bummed because the whole reason I was there was to be above the clouds and try this experiment out. And really, I'm just in a living hell of a snowstorm, just right on the edge of where the storm breaks. So I decided to venture out and just try to see if I can find something that was interesting to photograph. So after a bit of walking, I was realizing that I couldn't really find a subject to kind of isolate and take a photograph of. But I did have one thing going for me, and that was two different items in the horizon that were changing. One was a sunrise. The sunrise and the clouds on the horizon were moving. Two, you had all this wind and snow blowing at my feet. So I decided, well, that's two elements of movement in a photo. I might as well just set up a time lapse and just try to figure out where else to shoot. So I did a multitude of time lapses on this that kind of panned out. Didn't really, they're not my best work, but it's something and it's definitely interesting to look at. Trying to grasp at anything I could do in the situation that I'm given in, and that was just, to me, was just do a time lapse, and I think that was the best I could do in that situation. Let's talk about the cold real quick and how cold it was up there and what it's like to have camera gear in those kind of elements. I put this camera, the Sony A7 III, through the ringer, through the test of being in these elements. One, batteries. Batteries die so much faster when you're in cold conditions like this. So much faster. If you can, take your spare batteries, put them inside your coat, put them against your body, keep them as warm as possible. Try to prolong their life because they do drain very, very fast when they're cold. Two, lenses. Lenses and blowing wind just don't go together at all. I was constantly trying to face away anything I had to do when I had to change lenses, when I had to take my camera out. Always have your back to the wind. Don't let your lens hit the wind, because A, you're just gonna get stuff off it and it's gonna create artifacts in your photo. B, when you're in conditions like that and it's snow blowing that hard, you might actually damage your lens, and you don't want to damage your very expensive piece of glass. You just don't. So another tip, just be careful when you're in a blizzard. A caveat to that is once you do get ice on your lens, it is so hard to take off, especially when you can't get out of the snow or get out of the wind. And that happened to me. I was constantly cleaning the snow and ice off these lenses, and it was so hard to do. Other than all the time lapses I just took just to get something, just to create some kind of context, I found two photos that happened to catch my eye that I actually quite liked. First one was facing uphill towards the mountain, and the light was just hitting the clouds that were just being thrown around on the mountain up there, and I thought it looked really cool. It was very hard to get a composition of it and shield my lens with the wind blowing on it, but I think it came out all right. Second photo was more of a pay attention to those little details that I like to talk about sometimes. Wind was constantly changing designs and patterns in the snow, and I thought it looked really, really cool. And I actually took quite a few photos to try to capture the ones I thought was the best. This one was just a simple square image. The contrast looked beautiful. Light was just barely hitting it, so it created some warm tones in it. I think it came out really good. Again, this is just me trying to salvage anything I can do in this situation to be able to take some sort of photos. Already up there, it's cold, it's hell. I might as well just do the best I can to salvage anything I could out of this. And my mind was just looking and searching, and thankfully, at least I got two. So at this point, I decided, I'm gonna kind of go down. I ended up finding a viewpoint that was down the mountain a little bit. So I ended up packing everything up, which was insanely hard because everything was frozen. My poles were frozen, the tripod was frozen, everything was just frozen. My body, everything was frozen. You could see in the video, ice just on my body, on everything, on clothes, my body, everything. Dipping down to that little viewpoint, kind of checked it out for a bit, walked back and forth, decided honestly it's not worth it. I'm just going to leave. part about this trip was the whole photography thing was kind of a bust, but at least I got actually a pretty cool ride down on my snowboard, and that was something that I tried to take away of like, well, at least I got this. And it was nice. It was actually really nice. I got all the way down the mountain, and honestly it was just kind of a walk of shame back to my car. I felt like I was a failure. I felt like, man, I planned out this whole trip and I didn't do anything. I didn't accomplish really anything that I set out to do. That's how I felt in the moment anyways. I felt that way so much that I didn't even record an ending to this video. I figured I'd just do it later. Now here we are. I didn't record anything for it, and now I'm editing it and I'm trying to reflect back on how I felt at the time. But I'm actually kind of happy it worked out this way, because at that time I felt like it was just a complete waste of video. Waste of my time, and I could have done something else or just not done it at all. Looking back though, yes, it was kind of stupid to go up. Yes, it was not safe to go up. I do not condone going up in those kind of conditions on any experience level unless you are 100% sure that you're gonna be okay. But I think the only message I can really take away from this in this video is that don't be afraid to try things. Now this is, on my personal opinion, on the extreme end of that spectrum. Taking risks and trying something new out, you never know until you try. And you don't know what you're gonna find. I've taken so many risks on photography trips that I get there and it blows my mind. I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I came here. This was nothing like I thought it was gonna be. This is so totally worth it. But I've also had it on the other end of that spectrum, like this video, when I got up there and said, wow, this was not fun at all. And I think it comes down to an individual and their perspective on how they view things. Was this a complete waste of time? I don't think so. I think it was still completely worth it, because when you're in landscape photography and you're trying to be successful at it, you need to take those risks, and you need to have bad days like this, because I swear when you get to a good day down the line, you'll have 100 bad days, and one good day can just erase all of those. You won't even remember those, so just remember that one good day. And I'm living proof of that, because I completely forgot about this trip until it came up on my feed where I had to edit it and post this video. That is the takeaway from this video. I'm so sorry it was chaotic. I'm so sorry the continuity was not there. It was a nightmare. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. If you liked the video, please give it a like button. Actually, no, give it a like for the hell I endured to bring this video to you, please. That deserves a like. I really, really think it does. Please hit the like button. It's free, it supports me a lot. I am still very, very new to YouTube, and I can use all the support I can get. Please hit the like button. If this kind of content interests you, where you see me, a new landscape photographer, bring my experiences out to my local area, which is the Pacific Northwest, or other general areas of interest that I like to go explore, hit the subscribe button. I put a video out every single week, and it is a grind. It really is, but I'm doing it. I'm making it happen. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Yeah, this was a doozy of a video. It was weird, but I had to put it out, man. Had to put it out. Next week it's better, I promise. I will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. Bye.